Hello, hello. I started the broadcast early because I didn't want people to think we forgot about them. So, everybody, that's Alyssa, my director of operations and the producer of this show. Hello, Russia.
Hi, Russia.
That is Gloria Bell, the lovely
Hi.
Gloria Bell. I'm going to give this to you, and we forgot that piece.
Yeah, that's all right. I can hold it.
Learning for part one.
Right. So I'm going to hold this. How do I switch it around?
Double tap.
Double tap.
You gotta do that. What's up?
Somebody named Sausage Abe just joined.
Oh, that's nice.
Welcome, Sausage Abe.
Okay, so I didn't feel about this. Do you have your iPhone with you?
I do.
Cool, because we're gonna need that for timing. This is our intro first show ever. So the people watching are going to they're gonna be in for a fun experience of us figuring out what the hell we're doing. So I have an idea for topic one. I'm gonna go through the whole structure of the show.
Can you maybe one of you like scoot to this corner so I can get both of you? Oh, here. Yeah, we'll switch it up if I just need both of you like in the same corner of the table.
I can do that.
We actually have to be close to each other?
I know, so gross.
No, jeez.
We picked a good spot.
Yeah, we
We're here at
did.
the Gaslight, Philadelphia, makers of fine cocktails and food. Which the nice thing about being here for happy hour.
Say hi to
Buck-a-shuck.
Grace.
What's up, Grace?
Buck-a-shuck.
It's
Hi, Grace.
Buck-a-shuck, so we're definitely going to do, I think, some oysters, because why not? And then also a snack. Alyssa, snacks?
I'm down with whatever you want to be down for.
So we're going to make sure that everybody's happy here. Keep in mind, everybody, that you can give us any questions that you have, and we can try to work that into the show. Again, we're going to try and just make this an hour-long show. Gloria, I haven't even told you anything about this, but we're going to do this whole thing. Okay, so you know what you're having your drink?
I'm having an elephant in my pajamas.
It's amazing.
But how did the elephant get into your pajamas?
I'm not going to tell them.
Just going to have an old-fashioned, because that's what I do. Yeah, that's right. That's my drink. So we don't cheers water, because that's bad luck. So.
That is bad luck. That is correct.
So why don't we start with a little bit of bio information?
Yeah, let's start. So let me give the overview of the whole thing. I just pointed out to some people that may not have tuned in yet, but the people who did early. And for you, Gloria, because I just was like, be here at 6.
Show up.
Yeah, show up. So,
And for you, Jeff, I show up.
Exactly. So check it out. Here's the format of the show. It is a 60-minute show. That's our initial idea here.
Okay.
And it's broken up into 6 10-minute segments. Okay? First 10 minutes is us just kind of giving like an overview, getting to know you, and we're going to have up to 4 guests on the show, so me and 3 others. Today it's just you and me, but it's a little bit of like an overview. Who are we? What do we do? That whole thing.
To introduce our
waiter.
wait staff. Say
Sure.
hi. We're
What's up?
actually on the air right now. So
Yeah,
say
we're
hi.
live on the interwebs.
On Periscope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So should we order drinks and food from you?
Yeah, if you guys are hungry and thirsty, I'm the
Sweet.
one to go to.
Elephant in the pajamas, old fashioned,
I'm good with water.
good with water.
Boring.
And what do you have as happy hour food?
Happy hour food? Let me grab the little happy hour.
All right, cool. Where else is it? Buck-a-shuck right now?
Yeah.
Let's do. Do you like oysters? Let's do a dozen.
Can we split between East Coast and West Coast? Sure.
Okay. check
So
it.
this is
Sorry.
taking a very strange turn, and we apologize. Back to our previously scheduled
First 10
programming.
minutes. Who are you? What do you do? What's the context for the whole thing? Next 10 minutes, topic 1. I've already got a topic for this show.
Oh boy.
Topic 1.
Okay.
So that's the next 10 minutes. So that's each of these are 10-minute segments. The third segment is what we're calling Shots of Social. Shots of Social is this, where we're going to let the audience who is tuning in on Periscope and, if they might be on the web, whatever, they can tweet us questions using the hashtag SOS and tweeting at me, Jay Gibbard. And we're going to take those questions and we're going to attempt to answer them on the spot. Any questions they have about social media, any questions they have about marketing.
Sausage Abe said that we need to have the waiter sign a release.
Yeah, probably. But look, we're rogue, we're renegade like that.
That's right.
So here's the part that's fun though. If the audience stumps us, if you stump us on a way to answer a social media question, I don't want any like dumb trivia shit like, in what year did X, I don't want any of that. I want it to be
A shot today.
What is it?
$5. It's a shot from the bar.
a shot and a shot for 5. Got it. All right, scratch that then.
Yeah.
I'll let you look that over.
Yeah, we'll look that over.
Be right back, Andrew.
Can we
Thanks.
pause this?
No pausing. It's live. That's how this works. Okay, so if they stump us, we have to take a shot.
Okay.
So it's between the two of us to answer their question. And again, none of that dumb trivia shit. I'm talking about like real, like, how would you X, Y, and Z, or like real strategic questions.
All right. Not the how many users does Facebook have right now?
Yeah, I mean like down to like within a standard deviation of like 5, right? So we don't want that. That's dumb. So we're going to do that for about 10 minutes. We'll answer any questions they have. And if we don't get enough questions in, well then, screw you. We'll do whatever we want.
We'll talk about something.
We'll dance on the table. From there, the next 10 minutes is going to be topic 2.
Okay.
I honestly don't have a topic 2, so if you're watching out there, try to think of a topic 2. I have a topic 1. And then we move, when we hit the 40-minute mark, we're going to do another Shots of Social. That'll move us from 40 to 50. Final 10 minutes is just kind of wrap up what we learned. What did you learn? And then we move on about our days. And then we sign off.
I like it.
Your thoughts? I think
like it.
chicken nuggets. They're really delicious here. The pretzel bites and chicken nuggets. Done. All right, so.
All right, so Jeff, who are you, and why should we listen to you?
Probably shouldn't. I mean, here's the thing. Once we get to topic 1, we'll discuss this, but why does anybody watch Periscope? We'll come back to that. I am Jeff Gibbard.
Welcome, Kid 50. We're talking on Periscope with Jeff Gibbard.
I'm Jeff Gibbard. I'm the president and chief strategist of True Voice Media. It's a social business agency located in Philadelphia. I have dedicated the last 8 years of my life to obsessively studying the impact of social media on business, how people's behaviors have changed as a result of the changes in the economy, the changes in technologies, and ultimately how we relate to one another in different ways as a result of those two impacting factors. So I'm fascinated by that stuff. I used to be at a PR firm, prior to that a management consulting firm. I've got an MBA, I'm 5'6", and I drink Starbucks coffee, love dark chocolate. Twitter's my favorite social network. I'm a huge comic book geek. Spider-Man is the coolest of all. Gloria Bell.
Hi, I am Gloria Bell, and let's see, we're going to keep switching hats here. So first hat is I am the operations director of the Women in Tech Summit. It is a conference founded in Philadelphia to bring together and inspire and educate and connect women in technology. And we are going on the road as of September. We are expanding, so take a look and watch for us. And my second hat is as the marketing director of Tech Girls. We're a 501c3 that teaches middle school girls about careers in technology through free hands-on workshops. And my third hat is as the chief digital strategist of Bell Digital Strategies. Very simple, I'm a social media consultant. I do a lot of what Jeff does, except I work with smaller businesses and nonprofits. So.
Cool. All right, so all of you tuning in again, this is our first show. We anticipate we're going to have less of a turnout than we normally do. We're also trying to get our feet wet on this and everything. But what we'd like, if you're watching, is swipe from left to right if you're on iPhone, and you should be able to see a little button there where you can share this with people, get them on the show. The more questions we get, the better this will be. And then if you're on Android, I think you swipe either up to down or down to up. I don't know. I don't use an Android phone. So topic 1, are you ready for it before we get there?
We probably should tell them, if you're going to be sharing, you want to use Twitter ID JGibbard, @JGibbard, or @Gloria Bell, or @True Voice Media.
That's true. We forgot that. In future shows, we're going to have a little tent card that'll have all of that.
Good plan.
We're also going to promote the venue that we're at, which is the Social Media Happy Hour, wherever we are.
Also, yes, for those of you who are watching, if you do have suggestions on how we can improve the show in the future, please feel free to let us know.
Of course. So, topic 1, you ready for this?
I'm ready for topic 1.
Oh, and Sausage Abe just said he's a ninja cyborg zombie.
Sweet.
We like him. Keep watching Sausage.
Share with...
Because you're all connected.
All right, so here's the first topic. We are sitting here live in Gaslight on Periscope.
Gaslight in Old City.
And I guess my first question is, I sat a little bit today. We explored Periscope as a medium. Thank you very much. And we're going to do crispy nuggets, the soft pretzel bites, and the the spicy dry roasted chickpeas. Yeah. So cheers. First social happy hour.
Oh, that is an elephant in my
Question
pajamas.
1. I watched a Periscope today by Chris Brogan where he basically was like questioning the validity and the value of Periscope as a platform. Yesterday, I read a post by Derek Halpern of Social Triggers where he said initially he was skeptical of Periscope, and now he's a believer. I have been exceptionally skeptical of Meerkat, of Periscope. Since the beginning, this hype train about it has just been overwhelming to me, and I've seen these live streaming apps since the days of Ustream and Kick, so this is nothing new. None of this is new, it's just another platform. My question to you is, does this have staying power? Does this have sticking power, or is this just another app that we're going to see come and go?
Interesting you say that. Did you read the post I wrote back in April where we actually did a side-by-side comparison of Periscope and Meerkat?
I did not.
We were at the Emerging Technologies Conference, Tracy Wilson and Rossman and I, and we both went into the keynote side by side. She had Meerkat, I had Periscope, and we filmed the same thing to see what was the experience like, what did we see its use for, how easy was it shareable, all of those wonderful things. And I think it has staying power if people use it the right way. You and I talk all the time about it's all about the strategy. You can't just randomly do stuff. And if you're just randomly doing stuff, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, it's not going to have staying power because people are going to go, why bother?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this.
There's nothing here to make it worth it.
Before we get into the business case, because I think the business case is obviously something both of us can sink our teeth really deeply into. Let's talk about the personal case. How many people are actually going to do this? How many people are actually going to pick up their phone and live stream their life? I mean, we already see that on every platform that you and I use, it's a very small fraction of people that are the creators.
Yeah.
So if brands buy into this, obviously there's going to be branded channels that people can watch. But ultimately, I'm seeing people use it as a real time waster more than anything. When I broadcasted earlier today, what I got ultimately was I asked people, why are you on here? And even when I was watching Chris's broadcast, some of the responses to that question were, well, I'm bored and I'm just killing time. So is this just another distraction for people? So if that's the case, what is to say that this will be the kind of popularity that Instagram has or that Facebook has? I mean, do you see it having that? Because I don't.
I don't. I really truly believe anything that instantaneous doesn't have staying power. Because the reality is the number of people whose attention you're going to get at any given moment is so small. Because, in general, we're very narcissistic people. We want to know, if we're going to put something out there, we want to know somebody read it. We want to know somebody's watching it. We want to know somebody shared it. And when you're dealing with something as instantaneous as like Periscope or Meerkat
or live stream thing,
any live stream kind of thing, you're not going to get a lot of viewers all at one time unless you've done a whole lot of marketing up to, or unless it's, I'm showing off the pictures of my brand new baby and everybody in my family knows they're going to see it at 2 o'clock.
Or it's the right place at the right time. I mean, let's say that there's a concert going on. You know that's going to be on right now. Right. But it's interesting you brought that up because in Chris's broadcast, he actually made a very interesting point. He said, if you look at the trends of what's happening, especially in TV viewership, what is it? It's going from regularly scheduled broadcasts. You don't have the TV schedule. You have Netflix where it's consume on demand. So if you look at something like this, it seems like it's an app that's moving in the other direction. It's saying, watch it on my schedule. Yeah. And you can watch the replay for 24 hours, but is that really what people are going to do?
Hey guys, and here some house-made cornbread popovers with a buttermilk spread to start you guys off.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
I didn't either, but that's kind of cool.
The question is, as an aside, did we get those because we're live on Periscope and somebody phoned into Gaslight and said, hey, send them out a little bite to eat? Or is that just complimentary anyway? That's an aside. But, you raise a good point, I think, that it's difficult for anything that's truly real time to penetrate because then you're subject to the people who are online at that particular time.
I mean, how often... I know personally, I have never just gone to Periscope and said, hey, who's filming what right now?
Yeah.
Now, there have been cases where somebody has said, hey, I'm going to be on at 6 o'clock, and maybe I'll watch it. If I'm not doing anything else, maybe I won't.
Would you categorize yourself as a believer from the beginning in this, or kind of a hater, or somewhere in between?
I mean, I believe that there is potential there. I think that there are potentially good use cases for it. I'll give you a great example. We, and we're kind of back into I don't see a personal use for it. I think you're going to have a little small group of friends that are occasionally going to watch.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to quit doing it because they're not getting that feel-good somebody's paying attention to me feeling.
Yep.
It's going to be, a handful of friends. When you start getting into business case for it, at the Women in Tech Summit in April here in Philly, we periscoped our keynotes. We weren't live streaming any of the rest of the conference, but we periscoped our keynotes. And we had a fairly decent audience. You know, I think if you've got enough build-up, enough advance notice, enough marketing, you're probably going to get a decent audience. Otherwise...
I wonder if there's any analytics out there right now that allow you to analyze your audience and figure out what time they're most likely to be on Twitter and on Periscope, so you can optimize your broadcasts around that. I wonder if there's nothing out there yet. If you're out there and you're trying to think of the next great app idea, if you want to take advantage of the hotness that is Periscope, that might be a great app to build, is to do something that analyzes the audience.
Yo Buffer, there's your thing. You already do it for me for Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. Periscope would be nice. So would Instagram.
Damn right. P.S.
I'm totally going to eat one of these corn muffins.
Yeah, can you please tell Kid5050 how good they are? He wants to know how happy we are in Philly right now.
Yo, I'm pretty happy in Philly just in general, but you know, what was that bot that we just destroyed?
The hitchhiking bot.
Hit the Hitch bot.
Hitch bot.
Happier than Hitch bot, I'll tell you that. That's something. Maybe that should be topic 2. Talk about the Hitch bot and the social experiment that is that. Wait, who am I telling how good this is?
Kid50.
It's better than a corn muffin.
Kid50, Philly kind of rocks. That's why after being in Austin for a year and a half, I came back.
Hitchbutt, you Philly people are dreadful.
Yeah, we kind of are.
But
Yeah.
we own it. You know, that's it. We do own
I mean,
it.
we throw batteries at Santa. Come on.
We throw batteries at
Snowballs with batteries in them. Yeah. That was a long
It's always
time ago,
nice.
but it happened.
Sure. All right, so
You made
let's
Kid
get back to this.
cry.
Aww. Sorry, buddy.
But I think that is a very relevant topic about how the span of different social experiments that people are trying to do.
Yeah. I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of, I think what I've been seeing is, so I know a number of people in my network who are very, they're early adopter types, and they get really excited about new things. Like, did you hear about this new app, Beam, or Beamy? I don't know if it's Beam or Beamy, but it's B-E-M-E. It's this app where you basically put your phone up like this, and it records the video like in
Like a
real time
GoPro?
live for like 6 minutes, or I'm sorry, for 6 seconds, and then that goes out. You don't get to edit it, you don't get to look at it. And that's their newest idea for it. But I think the point is that these new apps just come out, and people lose
Welcome,
their...
Joan. Welcome. We're talking on Periscope
Welcome.
today.
And I think people lose their mind over these new apps, and they get so excited about the possibility of them. But you and I have been doing this a while. And to me, I've seen so many apps come and go, things that people get so excited about, and then they just don't, they're not in it for the long haul. And I think my concern with Periscope and with Meerkat and things like that is that we got a little too excited too quickly. And I think I'm failing to see the real business case in most scenarios, other than I'm gonna create an ebook or a Periscope to show you how to be better at Periscope. And it's like that whole like, I'm gonna write a blog about blogging, or I'm gonna tweet about tweeting, and I'm gonna engage you to talk about engaging you. Isn't there more?
Yeah, I will give you, there actually is a pretty interesting, I'm not even sure I would call it a business case. It's an interesting use. I don't know if you watched Good Morning America. I watch GMA most mornings.
Did you just
Well-
abbreviate Good Morning America?
I did. Well, they call it GMA, so I get to call it GMA.
All right, fair.
So when they're on the air, like for a few minutes before they go on the air, and while they're on the air at commercial breaks, they Periscope what's going on behind the scenes.
That's interesting. See, I can see that.
Now, to me, that's a really, there's not a big business case. They're not going to sell anything. They're probably not going to get any more viewers, but they're going to engender loyalty in their viewers.
I can see
because
that.
you're giving me a behind the scenes view.
Got it.
So, and I think that's where, if businesses are going to look at it from that perspective, this can't be a sales tool, unless, of course, you're going to do demos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hey, we're going to demo our new product at 5 o'clock on Thursday.
Then you can record it and do all that sort of good stuff.
But I think the whole connecting with an audience that you already have.
Oh, we're getting some love.
So it's more of a loyalty. It's more of a loyalty play than it is a biz dev tool.
In my view, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing it right.
So what would make it more of a biz dev tool?
I think one, there's got to be a lot of strategy behind it. You know,
Why you're using it, who you're targeting.
Right, and
Jay Stewart says hello, Jeffrey.
What up, Jay?
yeah,
Good to see you, homie.
I think the other thing that businesses really need to think is they need to go into it very strategically and holistically.
Enjoy.
They need to look at what is our audience going to want to see. And so often businesses will jump into whatever the newest, coolest social platform is without thinking about what is it our audience really cares about.
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to see our product demo? Do they want to see a behind the scenes? Do they want to be able to do, here's an interesting one for you, do an AMA on Periscope.
See, that I could see. And really, I do love the interaction of it as opposed to, so earlier today, Alyssa
All
and
the
I,
socials, Gloria.
earlier today, Alyssa and I were talking about, we have a big initiative where we're going to try and do a lot more video. This is one of the steps in that, and we're trying to talk a lot more about doing video. And we started talking about the benefits of doing Periscope over YouTube, or maybe we should do YouTube over Periscope, how long should it be, all these different sort of topics. And one thing I really liked about the idea of Periscope was this live feedback, where we're sitting here talking, we're having a conversation, regardless of who's watching. And even if we had 0 people watching, we can have this conversation. We can then download that video, put it up on YouTube, and it's the same thing as recording it on YouTube. But the added benefit is, even if we get one person watching this and they contribute a verse to this, it does change it by making it interactive. So that's one of the reasons why I decided that this particular show we would go with Periscope. While we have some other things we're going to definitely be doing as YouTube videos and things where there's less interaction.
No, this fits.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's not an expectation on your part of, I want X number of, I mean, obviously we always want viewers, but I don't want...
love our viewers.
Yes, we do. We love them very much.
True.
But there's not an expectation of, I'm going to do this and I want 100 viewers all at one time and they've all got to be on here. And I think that's where both people and businesses need to take a step back and go, what is our expectation going in?
Yeah. Well, let's pause right there real quick because we just hit the 20-minute mark, and I want to introduce our first ever, and Alyssa is like glowing over there because this is really your idea. So our producer,
I really
Alyssa,
love this idea.
and my director of operations, Alyssa, came up with this idea called Shots of Social. And it's gone through a bunch of different permutations, but one of the things that we decided that we would make Shots of Social is we wanted to, one, engage the audience to be a part of this by asking questions. And if you can stump us with a question, we're going to take a shot.
Oh boy.
So that's the exciting part. But beyond that, this idea of Shots of Social is these mini bite-sized little ideas around social. So what we wanted to do was engage the audience to contribute their ideas, their questions, and really just give us whatever they've got so that we can answer it to the best of our ability and hopefully answer some of their questions and help move their business forward.
Well,
Got any?
Here's a bonus.
So open.
Well, here's a bonus. Here's an idea. They can stump us. Isn't it better if they get to do a shot?
I mean, you can drink as much as you want if you're watching, you can drink as much as you
Go
want.
for it. You can do a shot if you stump us.
So,
What have we got?
chicken nugget. Here's the thing. First episode, small audience, so probably not a lot of questions yet, but it's the idea. So as future broadcasts come along, and obviously you'll be coming back, hopefully we'll get to a point where we have a big enough audience where we're going to be getting tons of questions at a time. I think the other thing that's nice is that as we bring on more people, you've got your audience. This was, I literally called you an hour before this, so it's understandable that you didn't have the chance to really talk to your audience and ask people to really, those that follow you pretty regularly, to tune in and make sure that they're there for it. And I didn't either. And I also, we had a new business meeting today, so pretty much I did all of that until I ran over here.
Literally.
But I think in future, the idea is that we would have this when we'd be able to do shots. Maybe we'll just do a shot anyway. But what are some things that are really on your mind right now? What are some things that you're excited about going on social?
Things I'm excited about?
Yeah.
I'm excited that there are more platforms making it easier to get analytics. I think that's actually really big. I also am excited about how much conversation is going on about there's not conversations in social anymore. To me, that it's very frustrating. Those of us that have been around kind of since the beginning, early Twitter adopters. We were there on Facebook when they first came out of being college only. We all joke and go, we missed the fail whale, and
Yeah.
when things got really busy and there was a lot of conversations, all of a sudden we crashed Twitter. We missed those days. And there's a lot of conversation, not only among those of us that have been around for a while, but a lot of people who are newer adopters about why isn't there more conversation? There's a lot of marketing, there's not as much conversation.
That's what my Twitter feed my Twitter feed is literally just link after link after link after link.
Yeah.
And I think what started out as a successful strategy of marketing amidst conversation has become the dominating force.
Right.
And instead has replaced the conversation. And I think that really is upsetting, especially on Twitter, as you and I, we met on Twitter.
Yeah.
I look at all of the results I've gotten from Twitter, all of the relationships that I now have, and people that I hold very dear to me and have been, integral in my success as a business person that I met on Twitter. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I started today if I would ever be able to have those things happen. I just don't think that the conversations are there. And even saying the word conversation makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth because it's become so buzzy. Engagement, relationship, conversations. There's these words that just they've become marketing tactics as opposed to things that actually just fucking happened on these sites,
Well, and the back and forth, where we would actually take the time to get to know each other outside of our professional roles.
Yeah.
There are relationships I've made, like our friendship and other friendships, on Twitter in particular, that I would never have had a chance to meet these people, and I now call them some of my closest friends and a lot of my mentors. And I think that's really important. And I like the fact that there's more and more and more things being said about, hey, we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people making steps. We're never going to get rid of marketing.
No.
That's the reality. And that's what lists and filters and all those good things are for. But
It's Gary Vee's thing. Marketers ruin everything. I actually have another one. I think Wall Street ruins everything.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. But
Well, 'cause it all comes out of the bottom line.
I think we have a question, by the way.
We have a question.
What's our question?
Hey.
Sausage Abe asks, who is Chris Shipley and what are they known for?
Chris Shipley?
I feel like I should know that name.
I have absolutely no idea.
What do you think, Sausage Abe?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I mean, stumping us, you could stump us on questions, but
I
don't know if
also
that's
want it
particularly-
noted that we didn't look it up.
Yeah.
We just admitted our ignorance.
yeah, I have no idea what that is. That's something, if that's like a case study that I should know about, then shame on me.
Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah. I've never even heard that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know the particulars about, but like I've at least heard it passing.
He says look it up.
That's helpful. Come on.
Come on, dude.
Come on.
It's a woman.
Okay.
I like him already.
Yeah. Because he completely and thoroughly stumped us. No idea.
I don't know. We'll look it up. Chris Shipley. Let's write that down. We'll check it out
I
later.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll check it out, see if it's relevant, but drinking old fashioned and elephant in pajamas.
Elephant pajamas.
Alright, so wait, where were we? I just lost my train of thought with the Chris Shipley thing.
She coined the word social media.
Oh, did she? That's an old school trivia thing.
Yeah, still don't know.
I'll take a shot for that. I don't care.
I'm
You don't have to,
going
but I'll
to
take a
guess
shot
she's
for
either
that.
a marketer or a journalist. I don't know.
Hey, for those just watching, yeah, I just double dipped. And it's interesting. We have an intern right now, 17, absolutely brilliant. If you haven't checked out our, she posted a video on our Instagram. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't see the video.
On our Instagram at True Voice Media, you should check out the video that our intern put together. It is freaking awesome. But anyway, we're just going. She's put together today. I had her putting together a blog post. It's a very theoretical, deep blog post. But what does social media mean? Like, what does it even mean? Because I think if you were to ask Mark Zuckerberg circa 2010, it means sharing stuff. It doesn't mean anything beyond just sharing
What
stuff,
does it
because the
mean
whole
now,
frictionless sharing and all that. And then there's some people who think social media is anything that's on the internet now. And then, so there's all these different definitions for it. So what is it exactly? It'd be interesting to see what the original definition was. So I'll be sure to look that up, and I will take a shot for that. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. For those of you watching, what do you think social media means? Because I have my own definitions of it, I have my own ideas, but I'd love to know what you think it means. When we walk into new business meetings, the first thing that any of our prospects usually think it means is Facebook and Twitter. And they think platform first. When I think of social, I think of a whole different context. I'm not even thinking about platforms. I'm usually thinking about activities. I'm thinking about ultimately how the technologies have shifted and changed versus what it was prior to social media.
And that's why we get paid the big bucks.
I wish I was paid bigger bucks.
Yeah, me too. But no, and that's exactly why. It's because we have taught ourselves to think strategically about the information that's distributed on the web. That's why clients need us, is because that's not their specialty. They want us to do that. It's very interesting because I remember, back 8 years ago, talking about this is supposed to be social. And somewhere along the way, it's become less and less and less so. So what does it mean?
So you think social media has essentially made us less social?
I could argue both sides of it equally.
Yeah.
I think that there are ways in which it has made us more social and ways it has made us less social. But I think ultimately, what is social media to me is that it is the contribution of content in the form of text, video, photos, graphics, like basically images, moving images, or text that can be shared amongst people in an open sort of way. And that can be open amongst 3 people, or it can be open amongst millions of people. It can be public like Twitter, or it could be in a small private Facebook group, but it is a social media. You're sharing media in a social forum. That to me is the most simple definition of it.
See, I would argue that it's made us more connected, less social.
Explain that. I don't know.
I just stumped Alyssa.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do, I promise.
I think it has made us more connected in that, think about how many of us have friends that live on the other side of the world that we're connected to on Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram or whatever. High school friends that in the pre-internet as we know it now world, we never would have had contact with ever again. Family that's far flung, that all of a sudden is now much more connected than it used to be because we can see each other's pictures and videos and statements. So I think it has made us much more connected. I think in a lot of ways it makes us less social because how often it's become perfectly acceptable, socially acceptable, to see someone's post come through on Facebook and all we do is give it a like. We don't comment on it, we don't reach out to the person, we don't talk to them, we give it a like.
You know what's interesting is, so I'm 35. Most of you wouldn't believe that. In my last broadcast, people asked how old I was. Somebody guessed 23. Moisturize. So anyway, I'm 35. I got divorced at 33, and in 2013.
You hear that, ladies?
So I got divorced in December 2013, and I moved out in April 2013, and in May of 2013, when my birthday was, I was sitting by myself at a bar, and I had like 75 or 80 Facebook likes on my birthday. And I was sitting there with my best friend, who was bartending at the time, and it was the most interesting feeling to be both, 80 likes on my birthday, 80 happy birthday wishes, and at the same time sitting by myself and nobody knowing exactly what I'm going through, because I didn't blast out like what was going on in my life.
Right.
So it was funny because I'm simultaneously feeling the attention, but not getting the depth of it. So to your point, there's the attention of it, but not necessarily the social aspect of somebody saying like, hey, you want to go out for a drink or you want to do something. The depth of the social might not be there.
And I have a question actually now for both of you.
Okay.
If you stump us, I'll take a shot.
You'll take a shot whether I stump you or not. So, given that experience, I think a lot of us can relate to that. Does that almost desensitize what true social connection might mean to us?
So again, on everything, I'm going to argue both sides of it because one, I'm a true believer in the power of social, and I think.
In your opinion, why did MySpace die, and will Facebook and Twitter suffer the same fate?
Oh, I would love to answer
Good
that.
question.
Let me first answer yours. Let me just answer
Yeah,
that real
we
quick.
definitely want to go back to that question. because-
I think that all of these technologies give us the capacity to be desensitized and become less social. But I also think in the same way that you see, teens with their faces like this, I think then those that are able to connect and able to have the real deep interpersonal, they gain the advantage. So I think that there's a little bit of both going on there that, yeah, you can say these things are happening, but at the same time, those present opportunity.
Oh yeah,
Does that
I
make
agree.
sense? Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. I think that finding that way, the people who become conscious of the fact that social media makes us less social, we interact less, they actually have that opportunity to develop much deeper connections because they're aware that sometimes it needs more than just a thumbs up, or it needs more than just a retweet. It needs a comment. It needs an outreach. It needs something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll be first to admit, I am just as guilty of, I am in a hurry and
totally.
I'm sitting at a traffic light and I'm scrolling through my Facebook and I just hit like.
Shouldn't be doing that. in the
Not
car.
while driving.
Not while
Sitting
driving.
at a traffic light.
I still shouldn't.
I don't do it while I'm driving, but I will admit to doing it when I'm sitting at red lights. But I'm just as guilty of it as anyone. Quick like and thinking I'll come back to it later. Yeah.
And then never do.
And never do.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. There's the people that get that this is a wonderful medium to connect with people, but you have to be aware that that's all it is a medium. You
Just a
need
tool.
to step outside of that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the MySpace question. All right.
That's
Why did
awesome
MySpace
question.
die? And
All right. Why
will
did
Facebook
MySpace die?
and Twitter?
And will Facebook and Twitter? So here's my assessment of that. MySpace died first and foremost because it sold out. Because when they were acquired, it became they were not any longer our platform. They were no longer MySpace, but they were. It was a Time Warner that bought them, right? They were Time Warner's space. They were no longer ours. That was the early days of social where it really mattered. Like corporate didn't fit with what we were doing there. So it was a scrappy young upstart. And all of a sudden it became, oh great, now they're going to monetize us. Because that was all you heard was the chatter coming through. But how are they going to monetize this network? How are they going to monetize this attention? And I think, and this is what I said earlier, Gary Vee said, marketers ruin everything. I say Wall Street ruins everything. Because it's constantly about the bottom line. It's not about people. And social media, none of that says to me it's about profit, it's about greed. So I think MySpace died because one factor is they sold out, they got bought, and it became about monetization. At the same time, Facebook was on the rise as the scrappy young upstart that was not corporate. And the reason why I don't think Facebook will suffer the same fate as MySpace, and I think Twitter is potentially in the position to suffer the same fate as MySpace, even though I love Twitter. But the reason why Facebook won't is that Facebook is 60%, I think, owned by Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg is not afraid to tell Wall Street to suck it and walk off. And I don't like Zuckerberg, and I've written plenty about it, but I respect the fact that that dude is willing to say, no, we're not going to try and turn that into profitability yet. It doesn't make sense. We have to build a great experience. We have to make sure that people are going to use this, make sure that it's sticky, and I respect that. Well, as Twitter, if you look at what's happening with them, they are complete slaves to the quarterly earnings reports and
They
quarterly
IPO'd
earnings calls. Way too early IPO, definitely. And they are far too interested in pleasing investors than they are pleasing users. They haven't updated this app in years, it feels like.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate because I don't necessarily agree with you about MySpace and why it died.
Interesting.
I could give you the funny answer, which is MySpace died because of all the fucking glitter. Excuse my language, but
That's fine. We can curse on here. We can do what we want. It's my
Thank you.
Twitter.
I think part of why MySpace died was not necessarily that they sold it out. I think the acquisition from a financial standpoint to give them stability to do what they needed to do was not a bad thing. The problem was they never head-on addressed all of the speculation on how they were going to monetize. They never stepped up and said, this is our plan and this is why you should stick with us.
You know what's interesting about that? Sorry to interrupt you. What's interesting about that, and I was having a conversation with our intern earlier about how other social sites are monetizing now.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they all doing? They're copying Facebook. And why? Because Facebook, it's working for them. So every other site is now trying to do what Facebook does.
Yeah.
When MySpace had that opportunity, they had no one to copy. There was no template for them to follow.
Right. Well, and I think, it was you get to a point where you hit a success level that you never anticipated.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what to do. And I think that was part of their problem. I think that's part of Twitter's problem currently. I think it's going to be part of Instagram's problem because I see some of the same tendencies with Instagram in that, we don't quite know what to do yet, so let's keep changing it. Facebook risks alienating its audience every single day because they won't quit screwing with stuff. But the reality is they have such a hold on our psyche right now in that that's the only way my grandmother's going to be able to see the kids of my, the pictures of my new baby.
Well, Facebook's unwanted ads will drive users away.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Because here's what I think Facebook has done that is both devious and brilliant. They've conditioned us. They've conditioned us to believe that like whatever they do, we're not going to leave, because that's ultimately what happened here. So to your point, they'll keep messing with stuff, and it used to be that people would revolt. That's the new normal now. That's what happens. Facebook changes something, they tweak something, they'll probably change it again, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to impact it. So we've become accustomed to the fact that they're just going to keep going, we're going to keep using it. And I'm writing an article right now about how to resurrect and save Google+, which I think is a conversation for a whole nother day. But Google has been very subject to the whims of its users that are the most vocal, and they've made the most changes as a result of popular opinion, whereas Facebook never seems to give a crap about what popular opinion is. They just do what they do, and people fall in line. And while I don't respect that, I have to appreciate that it's worked. So to the point of, will Facebook survive and will the ads drive people away? I don't think ads will drive people away in a second, because the number one thing that makes any social site thrive is my friends are there.
Yeah.
My friends are there. That's why they're there.
That's why Google Plus died.
Yeah.
Nobody's friends with that. They also made it too difficult.
Yeah.
In trying to make it easy, they made it too difficult.
Yeah, they overcomplicated things. From a feature perspective, I think they did a lot of great things.
And that's why, no matter what we may think, Twitter's never going to go away.
God, I worry about that daily.
The reality is Twitter's easy.
But it's easy to us because we've been using it since 2007.
It's easy to anybody. That is, I've talked to brand new users who have just started. And once they get used to writing in 140 characters
And following.
Once they get it, it's easy. And it's instantaneous. And I can say what I need to say right now.
So when your friends leave, where are they going to go next?
After Facebook? I mean, if you look at what's happened, one, they haven't left Facebook. They've just gone other places too. So my friends in my world, they were on MySpace and then they went to Facebook. Now they're on Instagram and some of them are using Snapchat. That's pretty much what's happened. I've tried to get them onto Twitter from the beginning, but it doesn't happen. I just find friends on Twitter. I don't bring them to Twitter.
And see, I do it the other way around.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And I was beating the drum for Google Plus for a while, but it wasn't working.
Well, the reality is, and this is what I wish a lot of these platforms would figure out, is that at a certain point there's too much. Like, I never got into Google Plus, not because I didn't see its value, not because I didn't think it was actually a really great platform. By the time it came into being, I couldn't figure out how to make it part of what I did.
It didn't solve a problem.
Right.
There was no it factor. The only it factor it solved was it got Google into social. But like it had nothing for us.
Right. It didn't, and everything else. I mean, it's why my fallback is always going to be Twitter, because that's where I was first.
Yeah, I'll take another one of these, and I think I owe somebody a shot. So let me get a shot of Jameson because I owe you. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's good to know where social media came from. At least now I have it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now
Speaking of shots, actually, we are at the 40-minute mark, so we are on the second iteration of Shots of Social. So if you're out there listening, if you're out there and you have a question, we'd love to hear it. The main point of this is to answer your questions and solve a problem for you, give you new information you can use to grow your business or grow your own personal brand. But at the same time, if you do stump us, we'll take a shot. And I love that. I've done.
Hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. I've done. I do this thing for the Center City Proprietors Association called the Q&A sessions, and it's just an hour-and-a-half long session where I just answer people's questions, like off the cuff. 20 people in the room, they ask questions, and I always offer, if you can stump me, I'll give you a free hour of consulting. So I thought we'd bring that to here, and instead we do
I like
a shot.
shots better. I could give away a free hour of consulting.
Yeah, that's how I look at
If
it.
you really stump me,
Yeah, I owe
I
it to
will
you.
give away a free hour.
Yeah, hell yeah, I owe you. Totally down with that.
So whoever gave us the Chris Shipley, because now I'm completely
That was,
intrigued and I
that
really
was
want to know.
Sausage Dave, and he's the one that's been asking us all these questions.
I appreciate it,
Thank you,
Sausage Dave.
Sausage Dave. Thank you. And actually, we had one. come
These things
through.
are incredible, by the way. These are fried chickpeas. They're amazing.
Somebody, let's see. Because my little Twitter thing popped up and somebody said something.
All right, fair.
Trying to figure out who it was, what they had to say.
So what kind of advice would you get to somebody who's maybe an entrepreneur or just starting their business and has nothing to do with social media, but would like to use that to harness more of a reach?
I'm gonna let you
To
start.
a professional.
To a professional, like an entrepreneur who's starting their own business. Like in this day and age, you need to have some sort of a social footprint.
You need to have a social footprint, but do not, under any circumstances, jump in until you know why the hell you're going to be there. Because
It's just more work
you
to
can-
clean up for us later.
you can do more damage just jumping in and being random without having any dedicated plan or understanding or goals for your business. And then you're going to end up paying people like us a whole lot of money to fix your problem.
But the one thing though I would say is that if you are going to jump in, don't do it on something that has consequence. So like for instance, I'm a huge fan of Marvel Comics. I could start a Tumblr about Spider-Man. I could start a Facebook page about upcoming Marvel movies. I could start a Twitter account where all I do is talk about geeky stuff.
Right.
And there's low consequence to that, to figure out the platform and understand the mechanics behind it.
Right.
But I would definitely not suggest that, if you're a banker or a financial professional or somebody in healthcare, that you start out talking about the things in your industry, especially, any regulated industry. I'd say start out with something that's a hobby. If you like fishing, talk about fishing. There's very low consequence.
Well, and I think it's also really important too. I mean, every entrepreneur, you should be writing a marketing plan for your company. Social is a part of your marketing plan. Social doesn't sit over here by itself. It is a part of your sales, your biz dev, your marketing. It's a part of all of that. Include it. And I really, whether you go to a Center City Proprietors Association meeting or you find a free workshop at the library or you call one of us and say, hey, look, can I barter, something for an hour of your time just to get an idea to understand where I'm going.
I do love the bartering concept.
I love the bartering concept.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. But, just be very strategic. You wouldn't do anything else in your business without being strategic. Be strategic about that as well. Building your own personal presence can be really important because sometimes selling yourself, especially if you're going to eventually look to get money, you're going to be looking for an investor. Selling yourself and having a presence yourself can be almost as important as having a presence for your business.
Yeah. So I would say a good starting point would be
Social media took over what activity to become the number one thing users
Porn.
did on the internet? Porn.
porn.
Yeah.
It overtook porn.
And actually, it hasn't overtaken porn. Porn still is number
Right.
one.
Well, I mean,
That knows it's porn.
so what would you categorize the porn that's on Tumblr? Is that social media or porn? By the way, a lot of really good stuff on Tumblr. Here's what I would say, just as a starting point of the advice to entrepreneurs of where to start. I would say rather than starting with
It's porn.
rather than starting with what platform should I use and what should I say on Twitter and what should I say on Facebook, I'd say start with questions. So
Yep.
first question is, what do I want to be? What kind of a company do I want to be? What do I want to accomplish? Where do I want to go? That's a good starting point. And then from there, who buys that? Who is the audience for that? Whether they're the people that are influencers within that space, or whether they're the people that are buying that, or are there people that are recommending that, partners? Those are sort of questions I would start with, and they're really not even social media questions at that point. They're just business questions. Who am I? Where do I want to go? And then who's my audience? And then from there, I would start doing the next level of research. Thank you very much. To figure out what I should do next. And again, thanks to the Gaslight for hosting us on this awesomeness.
Thank you very much.
Why are you giving me this? This one belongs to Jeff.
I'll take it, because I didn't know about the social media things. So was it sausage what? What was it?
Sausage Abe.
Sausage Abe. This one's for you. I like your questions. I appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate you. Well, I think too, the other thing that you know, a lot of businesses don't remember this, and the ones who are really successful on social do, is they remember that sometimes it's not all just about your business.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about showing your culture. Sometimes it's about highlighting the people that you work for or with. Sometimes it's about, sometimes it's about selling your product, but a lot of times it's more, why would somebody want to do business with us? It may be you got a kick-ass product, and that is the sole reason. It may be your price. It may be your company culture. It may be that, there's something about you that maybe you've got a great story. And I hope to God, if you're jumping into social, you've thought about what's our story. And not just our company story, our individual story, our product story, all of that. Because that's what you're telling. It's your story. And that's what you ought to be using social for.
Where are we? All right, so we just hit the 50-minute mark.
Yep.
I'm actually amazed that we did this. Way to go.
Yeah.
50 minutes.
We're having fun. I hope you guys are too.
Look, I hope you like this. Really do. But I'm going to do this every week regardless. But you should definitely tune in for other ones. We have great guests on the show like Gloria, other brilliant people that I've met along the way, either on Twitter, on Facebook, or even in real life. Go figure. We're going to talk about all different stuff. But, I think to kind of recap what we've talked about, and we might not make the last 10 minutes because this is the wrap up, but I think ultimately it comes down to, one, be strategic in what you're doing, two, know why you're doing it, and three, when you're looking at these new apps and new sites and things that are coming out, I think have a skeptical eye about it, but that doesn't mean don't do it. It doesn't mean don't get involved. It just means be thoughtful about it.
Yep.
And don't get caught up in the hype train. I think one thing that's happened to me as a result of being in this industry, and I don't know if it's happened to you, but I've become almost a late adopter of new apps and new social technologies because of the amount of times that I've gotten onto a site, invested the time and the energy to build a community there, and then have it disappear. I'm tired of it, quite frankly, and I think any of the people that have been in social for long enough are a little bit more slow moving in getting into and really embracing something. And that's not to say you shouldn't try Periscope and look for the business value, or try any other avenue for the business value. It's just more understand that I think we've reached a tipping point and we're in the consolidation phase. So I think we were in an expansion phase for a while where we had new apps, new ideas, new things. I'm not saying new, but we had a lot of things, and we've kind of chosen our winners. I think Facebook has won the social network game for the most part. I think Twitter has won the microblog game. I think Instagram has won the image sharing game.
Yeah.
I think YouTube has won overall the video sharing game. Now, that's not to say there aren't competitors or other companies doing things right. I'm not saying, and I'm particularly against the idea of a winner-take-all world.
And I don't think that's ever.
I don't think that's there. But I do think that we have certain companies that have kind of, for the moment, at least established themselves as the dominant players.
Right.
And I think what that means is when you find a new scrappy upstart, look into it, see what the business value is, but don't think of how you can use the previous paradigm in the new one.
Right. Well, and I think whether you're using it personally, whether you're using it for business, whatever it is you're going into, know why you're there. Know what you're expecting to get out of it. I talk, you and I've talked about this a lot, and I've talked about with audiences a lot about having a social media plan for me personally, for my personal digital brand. And every platform I'm on has its own purpose for me. LinkedIn's my professional network, and I'm extremely protective of it. I'm not one of these people that's going to connect with everybody that wants to connect with me. I'm not one of those. To me, there's an implicit recommendation in that connection. So I'm connecting with people I know and that I can vouch for their work. Facebook is my family and my friends and, some colleagues, but it's more my personal playground.
Yeah.
Twitter is this is kind of where it's a little bit of me. You're getting all aspects of me, but know why you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think actually a good note for us to kind of wrap up on is I'm going to let you go first, but let's just tell the people who are still watching, or the people that may watch the replay of this, or the people who will see it on YouTube once we've been able to download and upload. Tell people where to find you online, the different channels that you have, and how you use those, whether they're personal, professional, a little combination of both, and where they should really best connect with you. And I'm going to do the same right after that.
Okay. LinkedIn is my professional network. If we have worked together, if we have interacted in some fashion, if I know enough about you that I would write a recommendation for you, that's where you want to find me. If you want to know about me professionally, that's where to look. It's kind of a little bit of everything I work on. Facebook, that's a little more private for me. My Facebook is my friends, my family, the people I went to high school with, the people I would actually sit down and have dinner with. So you can find me on Facebook. Probably not going to find my profile because it's a little more private. You really want to connect with me, you want to talk to me, tweet me. It's at Gloria Bell is my name. That is where I spend the majority of my time. That is where I have the most varied conversations. You'll get personal stuff, you'll get private stuff, you'll get all me all the time. And it's, I can tell you, tweeting me will get you an answer faster than calling me or emailing me.
That's funny. So, back when I was married, I remember there was a time where my wife at the time, was down in Florida, and she conducted a little experiment. She sent me a text, an email, and a tweet. And it took me 30 seconds to get back to her tweet. It took me probably 4 minutes or so to get back to her text. And then it took me, I think she got back from Florida, and she was like, I emailed you also. And I was like, So it's funny you mentioned that. Okay, so for me, one, you can find everything about me and my writing and kind of links to everything on jgibbard.com. So jgibbard is kind of the moniker I use for everything. So that's my day in the life blog where I write about the struggles of being an entrepreneur, the excitement of being an entrepreneur, fear, motivation, et cetera, et cetera. I have my Twitter, which is jgibbard. That's the best place to reach me. And much like you, it's a little mishmash of everything. It's things that are personal, things that are professional, things I think are funny, things I think are stupid, sometimes a little bit inappropriate. But I view Twitter as my favorite thing on the internet because it is just so sublimely, beautifully simple. And I love it. I'm on Facebook. I don't friend anybody that I'm not friends with. But I'm less protective than you. I know that. I'm definitely more open, but you can definitely follow me. Almost everything I post on Facebook is public. LinkedIn, same sort of thing. I treat it very much like Facebook. If I know you, I'll connect with you. And if you send me a connection request and I don't know you, if it's a good connection request and you have a good reason, I'll probably connect with you.
Have a reason. Sorry.
Have a reason.
Oh my God, these random people that I've never spoken to who send me a request on LinkedIn. Stop it.
It's the worst. Yeah, stop doing that. So I have my blog and my podcast on truevoicemedia.com. I have those. I'm starting a podcast called Now You Do Me, where I'm actually, instead of bringing on guests, I bring on hosts, and I'm the guest for every episode, and I bring on hosts. It's a great idea, right?
Love it.
We just started doing this, which is thesocialhappyhour.com. I just bought the domain, haven't put up the website yet. I have Barguments. Barguments is where I go out with my friend Marco. We get, smashed on whiskey, and we just argue about dumb shit like comics and whether or not Ghostbusters is the best movie of all time.
Yes.
Yes? You would love him. I have a bazillion projects, but really when it comes down to it, the best place to find me is either jgibbard.com, truevoicemedia.com, or jgibbard on Twitter. And that, my friends, is the first Social Happy Hour. Gloria Bell, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to do more of these. I'm going to try and do them every Tuesday. I already got Lynette on the hook for next Tuesday. What? Dawn said that she would probably come out for it. I'm going to be reaching out to everybody that I know. And Alyssa will be here joining us. I'll be buying her drinks when she wants drinks and chickpeas when she wants chickpeas. We're going to try it out.
If you want to be on,
Yeah,
You
if
need to
you're-
be really nice to Alyssa.
Yeah, it's
Really
true.
nice to
This is the
Alyssa.
gatekeeper.
Yeah.
But if you are interested in coming on, if you got questions in the interim, you got topics you want us to talk about, you can tweet me, you can email me, jeff@truevoicemedia.com. But we're going to try and make this a thing that we're going to try this out for about 2 months. Every week we're going to do a social happy hour, bring in some awesome guests, talk about some things. And if you wind up loving it, we're going to keep doing it. And if you don't, we'll move on to something else because I've got a new idea. Oh, just had one.
Yep.
So thanks everyone for tuning in. Periscope, Jake Gibbard, Gloria Bell, love y'all.